Hey guys, it's Dre here. Today I have a little bit of a different video for you. This is an idea that's been kind of percolating in my head for a while, and finally I just decided today, you know what, let's just do it and let's just see what happens. So every once in a while I will do that where I will just get in front of the camera and talk to you guys about something without any planning whatsoever, and that's pretty much what I did today. So this is about makeup that I can't put back. So things where if I start using it, I have a very difficult time stopping myself from using it. So I actually have to physically make myself put it away somewhere where I won't see it anymore, or I'll just keep using that one particular thing and I won't use anything else in my collection. I don't know what I'm gonna call this video yet, but I hope that you get the idea of what I'm talking about. This is just like, it's not necessarily even like holy grail stuff. It's just sometimes like really fun stuff. It's so much fun to use it, or a lot of the time it can be a little bit of recency bias, like something is a little bit brand new, and of course you want to use something that's really new to you and you're just loving it so much. But for the most part, this stuff is stuff that I know if I start using it, I'll have a hard time stopping myself and using other things. So the reason I kind of decided to do this video today is because I started using my Anastasia Dip Brow again. Every time I start using this, I'm like, why do I ever put this away? I love this. I don't want to use any other brow products. This is so easy to use. It looks so good. Mine is in the shade Ash Brown, by the way. It looks so good. It's so easy to use. It just gives me the perfect eyebrow every time, and it's so much faster than using a pencil, and that's why I love this so much. But yeah, if I start using this, I won't be able to put it back, and I actually just hit pan on it today, which is really cool. So it's really hard to use these up, but the product itself is so smooth and it's so easy to create like kind of those little fake hairs in the front. And yet it's just so fast to put it on, and that's what I love the most about it, is it's so quick. Let's talk about eyeshadows. I have this issue a lot with eyeshadow palettes, especially when they're new to me. I want to use it and continue using it, and I kind of ignore everything else that I own, which is the case with this one in particular. This is the NARS Loaded eyeshadow palette, and I've talked about this, I think, in my recent favorites and how good it is. This is such a gorgeous, 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 neutral, summery, warm palette. The thing I love about this the most is just that you get so much instant pigmentation from it. It doesn't require a lot of building up, but yet it's so blendable. I love it when you don't have to struggle with a palette. Like, I know you guys know what I mean. Sometimes it's like you have to make it work, right? Like you are trying to use a product. There's some good things about it, but yet you struggle in different areas and you're like, I'm trying to make it work, okay? This is the kind of thing where you don't need to make it work. It just works on its own. This is a product that I have a very difficult time putting away. And really the only reason I ever stop kind of using this is because I can't really use it with you guys on camera. Like, I can't use this in tutorials without people going, oh my God, I wish I had that. Like, this is a limited edition palette. It's the Vida Loca palette from Kat Von D. Came out in 2015 holiday. And you can't get it anymore, which sucks. But every time I use this, I just feel so inspired. I feel so like drawn to all the colors. And again, it's just ease of use. Like, they're so blendable, easy to use, easy to build up the color. This is what I'm wearing today on my eyelids. I've got some of Vinyl in the crease. I've got some of Misfit in the crease. I've got this yellow Fran all over the lid, and then I put the purple Anthem underneath my lash line. Like, I just find this so easy to create cool looks with, and it's so easy to use. One of my favorite palettes ever. When I do start using this, I have a hard time putting it away, and yeah, there are some good dips going on, like especially in that purple there. I use that purple a lot. Last eyeshadow product, the Giorgio Armani Eyes to Kill single eyeshadows are spectacular, especially if you just are looking for like a shimmery lid color. They're all shimmery as far as I know, and they just look so gorgeous. So this is one of those kind of pressed pigment type shadows, similar to the L'Oreal Infallible type shadows. Obviously, this is a higher price tag. This color in particular is number 8. I believe it's the color Champagne. It only says the number on the actual bottom of the product. That's what it looks like right there. Oh my gosh, when I put this on my lids, I just love the way it looks. It's that most gorgeous, shimmery, perfect lid champagne color. And these are super easy to use with a MAC 242 brush or like some synthetic type brush, but I like the MAC 242. And it just is able to pack it on the eyelid really well. The only thing that with this and any type of eyeshadow that is kind of this pressed pigment type is you definitely have to do your eyeshadow first because there is always a lot of fallout, so just keep that in mind. Okay, so here's where a little bit of the recency factor comes in. This blush I've had a really hard time not using. This is NARS Bumpy Ride, which is what I'm wearing today on my cheeks. This is just a nice, pretty peachy, light peachy pink. I do believe this is limited edition, but I know it's still available. They're just super easy to use. Like I just swirl my brush in here one time, give it a good swirl, and that is more than enough for my cheek, and it blends out really well. But I just love this color. There's something about this color in this time of year that I've just been drawn to this over and over. And speaking about just blush in general, like stuff that I can use all year round, these Clinique Cheek Pop blushes are such favorites. I do have another one, but I want to talk about these two in particular because these two are the ones that I really like. I just want to use them over and over and over. So this is the Cheek Pop in Berry Pop and this is Peach Pop. So obviously two different options. So this is the kind of blush where you're going to get enough pigmentation on your brush the first time you go in, where you can put it all over your cheeks and blend it out and you're good. It really does not require building up because it is so pigmented, but at the same time, it doesn't go overboard either. And these two colors are just, they're so good. Like if I could only have a couple blushes, I would never limit myself to one ever. But if I could only have a handful, I would definitely put both of these in that handful because you have like a perfect pink and a perfect peach. And that's what I really think these are. And they're just super easy to use. And I do think that's kind of what this idea comes down to, is also ease of use. You know, I think we're always going to reach for those things that are just so effortless, right? Like that's what we want to use, something that we don't have to struggle with. And all of these products, I think, are things that are just super easy to use. So another recent product I have been loving is this. It's the NYX Matte Liquid Liner. I'm going to swatch it, but it's going to take a little while to dry. You can see though that it's super black, but it does dry completely matte, which I love. Now, I like my pen liners like the Kat Von D Tattoo Liner and the Physicians Formula Eye Booster. I like both of those a lot because I like how easy they are to use, but they are shiny. Like once you put them on your lash line, they aren't matte. They show up very shiny. What I love about this is that it dries down matte. So what I've been doing, and I'm doing it today even, is I usually use this liner like all along my lash line, and then I'll just create my wing with one of my pen liners like the Kat Von D or the Physicians Formula, because this one to me is still like, I'm pretty good with brush tip, but this to actually do the wing with to me is still a little bit tough, but I love the end result and the way it looks. So this is just super awesome. And I can see myself like repurchasing this over and over and over, but I do have other liquid liners and I've just been like pushing them to the side in favor of this one. My favorite Holy Grail highlighter is the one I'm wearing today. You can see it's super reflective. This is the Cover FX, the Perfect Light Highlighting Powder. I can never remember that because it's so many lights in it, and it's in the shade Moonlight. This is what it looks like in the pan. It's very similar, I would say, to the Balm Mary Luminizer in a way. Like it's very reflective, but I feel like this is even smoother. Like it really does blend in really well with the skin, and it really comes off as more natural. I mean, obviously a beaming highlight is never gonna look totally natural, but there are some that sit on top of the skin and some that just blend in and look very skin-like. And I feel like this one is definitely the skin-like type. Packaging on this, I've talked about before, is pretty much garbage. It's just like plastic, but the product inside is absolutely stunning. It's one of my favorites. I have a really hard time putting this back. And another highlight, again, pretty recent, but I love it and I can't get enough of this, and I've talked to you guys about this a lot, is the Smashbox Spotlight Palette in Pearl. This is the Casey Holmes collaboration, but I've heard it through the grapevine, and I don't know if this is true, but that this is gonna be permanent eventually, but not necessarily as a collaboration, which I think that's why like her name isn't actually on the palette itself. So this is something that I don't think is going away anytime soon. But anyway, the product in here it's one of those things where I've heard people like on the internet ask me and ask other people like, is it really that good? Because I've swatched it and the swatches were not that pretty. And that's kind of true with this. Like the swatches are not that impressive, but the way it blends into the skin is so skin-like. Like, I think that's a theme here. You know, it's so skin-like, it's so gorgeous, it's so natural. It doesn't enhance any bumpiness on your skin or pores. It's really, really, really stunning. The only one in here that is kind of glittery is this one, and obviously that's not going to be very skin-like, but these two in particular definitely are. And whenever I use this, you know, I have kind of an everyday makeup drawer, and I usually bring in about 4 different highlighters at a time for about a 2-week period. Whenever this is in there, I never reach for the other ones. Like I only ever want to use this just because it looks so gorgeous. I have an extensive foundation collection. In fact, I did a foundation collection video where I talked about everything I own, and I'll link that if you're interested. But in terms of foundation, that's the one thing in my collection that I love testing so much, that I bounce around between so many of them. And I do have a ton of favorites, but I bounce around so much that I never really finish any of them, and I don't really stick to one over the other for the most part. There is one exception, and if I start using this, I find it very difficult to put it back, and that's the Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place foundation. So mine is in the shade 2N1. Everybody I think knows this is like the fullest of the full coverage foundations you can get. It's very, very full coverage. If you're oily like me, it will keep you matte for a very long time. If you're less oily than me, it'll probably keep you matte throughout the entire day, but nothing keeps me matte throughout the entire day. But this is the closest I've ever found. So this I've loved since I got it. And the other thing that's awesome about this is it's really good for mixing with other foundations. Like I find that this mixes well with everything. I haven't found anything that it doesn't mix well with. So this has been a total favorite, and I can't put this back when I use it. Concealers, kind of the same thing. I have a lot of them. There are very few that I am super loyal to, but these two I am. This one, obviously the Tarte Shape Tape. If I start using this, I just fall in love with the coverage of it. Like it's so full coverage. This is what I'm wearing today. And you don't need a lot to get full coverage. And I have very dark circles, so you know, it works super well. And it does blend out really well. It can set pretty fast though, so it's really good to do one eye at a time or just blend them out really fast. Don't leave it there sitting waiting to blend it out. But it's so full coverage and it's very smooth, like it doesn't crease at all. And the other one that is a recent purchase, but oh, just so good, is this NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer. Mine is in the shade Creme Brulee. I freaking love this so much. It's got this velvety kind of moussey texture. It doesn't have that kind of hardness that a lot of, what I find anyway, a lot of pot concealers have a little bit more of a thick, hard consistency as opposed to like any kind of liquid concealer. This one is so moussey that it glides so nicely under your eye, but yet it still gives you that full coverage. And this is so full coverage too. Like this is just as full coverage as the sharp Tarte Shape Tape. It's so hard to say that. And really the only primer that I find myself drawn to over and over again and find it hard to put back is the Benefit Professional. I used one up recently and I just purchased the little mini size because I have so many pore filling primers that I really don't need to like go run out and buy a full size of this. I need to use up the other ones I have, but I love this so much that I just need to have it. And if I start using this, I will use this over any other pore filling primer, even though I have other ones that I really, really like, because it just fills in pores so well. It's a classic for a reason. It's a bestseller for a reason. If you have large pores or even medium-sized pores and you're just looking for something to really smooth out your skin and give you a really flawless canvas, this is it. There really are 3 different mascaras that I love and I'm very loyal to. One is Urban Decay Perversion. That's kind of a love-hate. I love it. I know a lot of people who hate it, but for me personally, I love it. I also really love Lancome Hypnose Drama. The thing those have in common is they're very volumizing and not necessarily super lengthening. They are lengthening, but it's really all about the volume. And the third one in my top 3 is this one. It's the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. I'm going to very soon do a comparison between this and the new L'Oreal one that's very similar in packaging to this, because you guys have asked me to do that, and I definitely will. But for now, I just want to talk about this in terms of how good it is on its own. Obviously, it's a high-end mascara, and I do find like you don't need high-end mascaras. It's not one of those things where, like for eyeshadows a lot of the time, high-end can definitely be a lot better overall, like in terms of if you compare just straight drugstore to straight high-end. Eyeshadow is a category that really beats out drugstore almost every time. But mascara is one of those things where there are so many awesome options at the drugstore that you really don't need to spend a lot. That being said, I always miss this when I don't have it. And when I do have it and I have others in my collection, I always ignore everything else. Like I can have my top 3 even, and I will always reach for this because this one is so lengthening and volumizing at the same time. It gives me everything I want, you know? And I'm wearing false lashes today, but for the most part, I can wear this on its own and I am very, very satisfied with the way my lashes look. And that's saying a lot because I've pretty much become addicted to false lashes. So it's really hard for me to love the way my eyes look without falsies on, but this is pretty much where it's at when it comes to that. So I also really love the brush shape on this. It's that kind of hourglass brush shape and it just fits really, really nicely in there. This has a nice glide to it and you see instant length when you use it. I'm not very loyal when it comes to lip products. Most lip products, you know, it's not my favorite category of makeup. I love eyeshadow. That's really where it's at for me. I have tons of lip products, but it's not my favorite thing. So I bounce around between so many different lip products, liquid lipsticks, lip liners, like I'm all over the place. And there are only a couple things that I would consider absolute favorites. One of them is the Anastasia liquid lipsticks. Now, a lot of people don't like this formula and find them drying. I find a lot of liquid lipsticks very drying in general, and I'm not a fan of a lot of them. But for some reason, these ones just don't bother me. They don't bother my lips. I don't feel like they're super dry. And if I bring these into my everyday kind of makeup drawer and I see these there, I will use them every time over any other liquid lipstick that's sitting in there next to it. Like, I just can't stop myself. So these 2 shades in particular are the ones that I love and I will use more often than anything else. So here we have Dolce on this side and then Crush on this side. So Crush is a little bit more of an everyday dusty mauve and Dolce has a little bit of peach in it. These are both dried down completely on my hand there, so that's how they look when they're actually finished drying. And they're just super great everyday neutrals. These don't have any scent to them and they do last all day on me. I don't have any issues with crumbling. And these colors, I don't see any real like line of demarcation in the middle of my lip because the colors are very neutral. And then the other 2 lip products, and these are the last things I'm going to talk about today, are what I'm wearing on my lips right now. So the first one is the Charlotte Tilbury Lip Cheat, which is the lip liner, and this is in the shade Pillow Talk. This has a beautiful glide to it, yet you get so much opacity out of it, and it looks so natural at the same time. Like, I don't know if that's gonna be the case for all the shades, but this particular shade with, like I said, Pillow Talk, that's what it looks like right there. It's such a natural nude on me. Anyway, I mean, nudes are different on everyone, but on me, it's like a perfect nude. This goes with so many different things, and I have a lot of lip liners, but this is the one I reach for over anything else. And then the very last thing is probably my favorite lipstick ever, and I know I've talked about this a lot. This is the Too Faced La Creme lipstick in Spice Spice Baby, and you can see it's completely full because this is actually a repurchase. I used up an entire one of these just a few months ago, which I never use up lipstick. I barely make dents in lipstick, like, because I have so much. So you can see it's just like super juicy, like my lips look very plump. This is the closest thing to having nothing on your lips but still feeling super moisturized and having like that color there. Like, you just don't even realize you're wearing this. It feels like a nice thick lip balm it's just the perfect amount of thickness. It's not too thick. It's like Goldilocks. It's right in the middle. It's absolutely a perfect formula, and I love the color of this. So this is what I carry in my purse. I carry about 3 or 4 lipsticks in my purse at one time, and if this is in there, I will always, always, always use this instead of something else if I'm like out and about in the car and just slapping something on, because it's so easy. So that's it for my video today. I hope you guys liked it. I know it's a little bit of something different, but I hope that you found something valuable and informative about this. Definitely subscribe if you're new to my channel. I'd love to see you around in my other videos. And I really, really want to know from you guys, what are the things that you can't put away? Because I'm just nosy. Like I need to know. I need to know, are some of them the same as what I'm showing you, or do you have like your own things? I'm sure you do. Duh, like we all have our own things. But I'm super nosy and I just need to know. So please, please, please leave me a comment. I want to know, what's the thing that you cannot put away? You have to force yourself to put it away if you start using it again. So I hope that you like this idea. That's it for today. I hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are, and I'll see you guys in my next video.